Hey y'all, this is Third Eye Bell in the house. How are y'all doing? I'm coming to you with this video on my YouTube platform, which is fairly new. If you find my message resonates with you, then please like and subscribe. I would like to build up to 500 so I can go live and really do this. This recording thing is like a little bit off for me because I have to go into a vibration of feeling it. But I'm here. Editing, I'm not going to do. So please take some time out to check it out. The errors, mistakes, so not snafus, I give no, because I just want to be raw and authentic. But welcome. I am a professional muse. I am here as a light worker, just as there are many here. I'm a high priestess, and I'm here basically to share knowledge with you. As a professional muse, I speak and I work with people of all walks of life who need that extra push, that extra inspiration, something that they lost along the way that's dropped in their creativity to assist them to level up and live a life that is more comfortable for you. I'm not saying change your entire life, but here to assist you to maybe think about how to work in a different kind of way. Let me turn this down. I'm listening to frequencies. And when you go in to listen to sound frequencies, it does help your body, mind, and spirit become connected as one. I'm going to dive right in. I come to you as a croon, and a high priestess, as an alchemist, first and foremost, which is I am that I am. And I've been an alchemist for many years. I live it, my journey. I don't live, quote unquote, the way people may textbooks say an alchemist does, because one thing about really being an alchemist and who you are is just being you. Who you are, practicing your spirituality the way that works for you. Not by a textbook or a group of people that say, hey, you got to do it this way or it's not right. No, you go in and you do the research and you read and you learn what's right, and then you tailor it and twist it and become the magical being that you are, the powerful alchemist that you are, the goddess, the god that you are. And I'm here to assist you with that. Even if you take away one thing, I always saying, if I can help one person on this platform, then I did my job here on planet Earth. I accomplished my mission to share with you ways to assist you in your life for the betterment of you, finding and learning who you are that can bring that spark and joy to your world. That is why I'm here. And that's what a muse does: inspire, lift, influence. But through that, we have to share our experiences, our dark nights of our soul, so that you know that the world know it is not perfect. There is dark and light. We are both dark and light. But how do you live in the darker stages of self? You know, in light, your heart chakra is flourishing, is rising, you're here. But how do you navigate when you're in the dark waters, underground, in the mud, in the murkiness of your funk? And how do you rise out of that? That's what I'm here to share with you. On Wednesdays, you may hear background noise. I'll get a more quieter space, but I don't do edits. I just go with the flow because that's just me. I don't like to watch a lot of skipping. It feels too matrixy for me. It feels too structured, and I'm raw. and I'm authentic, and I'm free. So for me, the rule is there are no rules. So roll with me, forgive the background noise. Kind of block it out. Go into a meditative state and just focus on my voice, my vibration, my energy. And I'll get along, I'll get with that soon. I'll get into a quieter space that I'm building out. I'm going to turn my closet into a little recording space, so I can go in there when I need to. But for now, what I do on Wednesdays, as I call it, my Wednesday wisdom or my witchy Wednesday, depending on what's going on a moon cycle, what I intend to do is work with the elements more here on the space. But I have a reading that I'm doing. I'm working in this book, Living Untethered by Michael Singer. And I'm reading this every Wednesday live on my Instagram, which is also Third Eye Bell, and on my Facebook, which is Third Eye Bell. I generally start between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., somewhere in the middle. I'm going to be working on time when it comes to coordinating time for my readings and respect to those who actually would like to read with me the books and start a book club. But I'm going to get better on working with the time before I get serious. But you can always go back and see my lives because I saved them on my social media. Here, to make it a little bit shorter, I'm just coming on Wednesdays and I'm giving you a summary of what I read, what it's about, and how it resonates and how we should adjust and use this energy out of this book. This book is a psychology book, but it also is of higher spirituality as you learn to live within self, in the moments, knowing the good and bad side of you and how you maneuver through the muck of the good and bad. As I was speaking earlier, this gives a different perspective of who you are, your soul self, outside this body. The light, the spark, the chi, the thing. Chi being your heart, mind, spirit connection, your heart chakra, how you move. In this book, the chapter that we're reading tonight is focusing on the heart chakra, opening and closing of the heart chakra. Okay, I'm going to put on my glasses so I can just give you a couple of little highlights. But it is my Witchy Wednesday. Before I start in this space, I have burned my sage and cleared it. I have given my spirit guides, my ancestors that serve me of my highest purpose, the archangels, God, gift of smoke, incense as I burn, and I give thanks and gratitude for this space and for having those that watch me to see it later. And as I ask, if you like it, please like and subscribe to my channel to help me to assist others as I rise up and folks that engage. I hope you can hear me okay. I'll check this again. As I said, no editing for me. I bring you love, peace, and blessings. I thank you for your time and energy being here. So I start off with my tarot. I like pulling a card to say welcome to my space. Invite the energies here to let you see what the energies would like to say in regards to what we're doing here this evening. Okay, it's like a welcome. I allow the energies to welcome you as I welcome you in this energy, in this space and time. How is this going to work with us as we sit here in this energetic space? We're energy. Nice. We have welcome. energetic vibration of the Page of Cups, being of higher self, optimistic. That's what I'm bringing to you in this read is optimism. It's a little brighter. I completed this on my Instagram where the energy started out as that particular group, those particular people at that time needed to know the energy. It was upside down, starting with the death card reversed. And then it went into the family unit upside down, completion and new beginnings, taking in the seriousness of the read that I was about to read to them. Now the energy is lighter and it's asking that you go ahead and listen to my perspective on this chapter as I summarize it and share what I got out of it and that I hope that others get out of it. But whatever you get out of it, know that it is about love and optimism to bring you light, a lighter feel, to fill your cup. Let your cup runneth over through this summary, through these cards, so that you can see something different. You see the light and the brightness here. Youthfulness in the page, opening up your heart. You see this heart area here is lit up. That is my goal here in this space tonight. So let's talk. Okay, I'm gonna move my candle over. I love the energy of this silver candle. I feel that it's giving me such power. The silver it works with the moon, the element of the moon cycle, and we're working in the moon cycles as we speak, getting ready to go into a new moon, planting a new seed, a new beginning. Right now we're clearing out all the muck of what we're doing, and in this read, hopefully it'll help you to clear the muck and get ready to plant a new seed, to start over. Know that you are loved. Know that you are gods and goddesses, and know that there is always a new beginning. Okay? So in here, this chapter was chapter 22. If you didn't see my video on last week, look at last week's because I started this last week. And we're going in on 22, which is fitting for love. Fitting for coupling, working together. Okay? That's what we're working with. Recreating, rebranding, being who we are. And in this chapter, the author is about why the heart opens and closes. And I'll just give you a couple of little examples on what the author is saying in this chapter. What he wants us to know is that our heart, first and foremost, understands that we are not our hearts. Okay? Our heart we are the experiencer of our heart. We're experiencing the emotions that give us the vibration within our heart. And that's what we are, and that is what our hearts are to us. In the physical, we know that we need our heart to breathe, to live. We know that it vibrates, it beats, but we have emotions that are within our heart that also vibrate and beat, and it can affect us. This is all me speaking. This is not the author. It can affect us in physically, mental, mind, body, and spirit if our hearts are not balanced. So we always want to work on them, and we always want to nurture it to the best of our ability. So let me just read a little bit of opening of what the author is saying about our heart. He says, you are the consciousness that is aware that emotions are taking place. When love shoots up inside of you, you say you're in love. What you really mean is that you feel love coming up from your heart and bathing you. The author is saying that you can feel the warmth of love flowing through you when you're in this state. He then says, you're floating in the ocean of love, but you're not the love you feel. You are the experiencer of the love you feel. You're experiencing, this is me, you're experiencing the emotion of the love that you feel in your heart. Okay? He then goes on to say, note that so far we haven't considered the role of another person in this love experience. So then he's going in, he's flipping it, and he's showing that this drives you to say, I love love, which is what I do. I love love, and I live this, and so do you. But he says, what we do instead is say, I love you. He says, this is the first clue into the role of another person in your experience of love. As long as the other person's, as long as the other person's presence helps your heart open, you feel love for them. Okay? That brings me to think about, when he says that, Lauryn Hill has a saying, and I put it on my Instagram, is that we feel love for an individual as long as they are stimulating us, stimulating our heart. But once that person no longer stimulates us in the physical in some way, shape, or form, we lose that love. We are no longer interesting to them. We no longer engage that emotion of a fluttered, warm heart feeling. Then they walk away and leave. But love, as this author is explaining and summing up in this chapter, is more than just that. He's explaining how love is an experience that you are experiencing. But you have to be able to distinguish and pull out and project it outside yourself, is how he's summing up this chapter. He says in here, you want to feel love and have projected the experience onto another person. Okay? And that is what we want to do all the time. But he's saying that this is actually incorrect. So let me share with you. He says, since we want to project our love onto another person, some of the things that we start to feel is, in that experience that we project, is this: emotions of jealousy, need, dependency, all result when we want to become personal with possession of another person involving love. So these other things come outside ourselves as we build in these emotions and make the love experience personal. He's then saying, likewise, if we're feeling the flow of love and our lover does something that we don't like, we feel closed and hurt as well. Okay? He then says, these are just other feelings that can emulate from the heart. So what he was driving us to do in this chapter is really take a close look at our heart. He's asking, do you notice your heart opening and closing? And think about this. He's asking us to think about, if someone asked you to open your heart, would you know how to open your heart? He's explaining how a lot of us really do not know how to open our hearts. We don't know how to go into pulling out the feeling of love in an instant and open it up and share it. So he says here, the heart is a very sophisticated instrument that few people know how to play. You know, I was saying on the live, we have people that know how to play with the heart. They know how to manipulate you and pull your heartstrings for their own selfish purposes. Okay? And those are the people that you want to watch out for. Though I'm reading this chapter and he's sharing how to open up the heart, the big lesson in the big picture for me to share with you is know how to use your heart, but you must know how to close it, turning it off and on. You could still have love, but know how to protect yourself with your heart on both spectrums, being in love with a person, being out of love with the person, the opposite spectrum of it, and rolling through it. So he goes on to say, your heart is a thing, like an appliance. It's an appliance that emanates vibrations and energies. Like an appliance, it needs a healthy power source. So he's summing up in this particular area that you must charge your power source in the most positive way, being healing to self. Okay? He then goes down, he says, when the heart is closed, you don't feel positive energies or a constructive purpose. It can get pretty hard and uncomfortable in there. And sometimes it feels like a rock inside your chest. And he says, you definitely don't want that. So in an attempt to avoid the experience, your mind starts making up stories of what to do. He then says, you may say something like, I'm going to leave and get out of here. And you start thinking about all these things to get away from feeling that feeling when you're uncomfortable. He then goes on to say, when your heart is closed too long for a long period of time, that can lead up to depression, sickness, and illness in your health. You know, sometimes death. It can affect and mess up your entire life to have your heart closed for a long period of time. Okay? He then says, the mind is expressing the state of the closed heart when that happens. But he goes on to the opposite and he says, what if your heart is in an excited state, open state? You're just as dangerous because you think it's not going to change, he's saying. He's saying generally, something is going to happen that curbs the enthusiasm pouring through your heart. If there is a reason that the heart opened, then there is a reason it can also close. So he's showing the opposite spectrum. So this is how your heart is opening and closing, you know, in the opposite state of feeling joy, peace, happiness, deep love. So what he wants to say is that your heart will go through fluctuations as different situations causes it to open and close. And the way he's summing this up is that's when you're going to go and work on and think about your chi. You know, how to correct your chi, how to nurture yourself. You know, he's calling that one of the things that people don't pay attention to a lot is your chi. And he's using it as Shakti or your spirit. And he says, he's saying here that he's calling that one of the objectives of consciousness. And that is a part of your consciousness that you want to now make yourself aware of in matters of your heart is how is your chi working? And I'll do more videos on that on how to balance that out. He says, once you quiet down enough, that's working with your chi, going into meditation, prayer, quiet zone, into your oneness, he says, you will realize this energy is constantly flowing inside you. And sometimes even make a reference to the energy level as it suddenly changes. So start paying attention on what your energy level is feeling like, what your heart is feeling like at the time. And he says, the deeper you think about the flow of your heart, the more your energy will rise, and you'll be in a consciousness of knowing the state of emotion of your heart in real time without reacting emotionally, over emotionally, in a way that's going to be over at the top in any direction, and a manic behavior that can send you over the top where you're so much in love you can't be without this person. You'll cross seas and oceans, you'll live in a box with this person, but not be able to have balance. And then the opposite spectrum of being so hurt by something that a person has done to you that you can no longer function. He talks about how you can become so depressed. You may say something like, you don't want to live. You don't want to drive for a week. You don't want to wash up. You don't want to go out because you've gone into that opposite spectrum. So here, work with your chi. He's recommending and balancing, and try to find your flow to recognize this. And I'll do exercises on this. Like I said, I'm doing a summary. So what he's saying in the end is that regardless of what is going on in your life, the reason that you're doing this is because of your past experiences. He calls them samskaras, which is the things you set up in your mind, your emotions that you set up, that you've made a solid decision that you are not going to feel this certain way ever again because something that has happened to you in your life, a life experience. And the way he talks about it is that growing up, having a father that was put a blockage on you that made you feel terrible, that you wanted to hurry up and leave out of the house. So when you met someone that was similar to your father, you couldn't deal with them. It hurt your heart too bad. You were in a relationship with someone that reminded you of their father, but you couldn't move forward in a positive manner in the relationship because the experience of your father was so bad. So that activates, that memory activates, and it puts you in these relationships that you can't really truly thrive in the relationship because of your past experience of that trauma. So you want to be made aware of that. Your new relationship, that person is not your father. Give that person a chance and an opportunity to flow through that energy and see if it'll work. And if it doesn't, no harm, no foul, it doesn't work. You recognize it, but you don't have an emotional breakdown state in either direction over it. Okay? So he's summing this up to say, to protect yourself from disturbances, recognize that your heart opens and closes. And the cause and the reason that your heart opens and closes is based on your life experiences. So view your life experiences in a different light. And I will do a video on that. How do you view your life experience in a different light? Meditation, prayer, quiet time, recognizing the moment, recognizing the relationship that you're in. Feel it, but think about it. Move in a manner that you are living the experience as it is. Take note of the person that you're in a relationship with. This can be a love relationship. It could be friendship. It could be work, whatever it is. You're working through your heart, no matter how big or how small. How are you moving with these individuals that you're working with? Don't base your movement on your past experience. Base your moment on the moment that it is in. Okay? So with that, I am going to close out this session. I hope that it is beneficial. I'm going to pull a card of love to close, but I'm going to pull out my tarot and say thank you to my spirit guides here, and how would we like to close here, and then close with the love card. Oh, okay. So we have the Seven of Swords. Spirit is reminding you to take care of yourself. Okay, go and do the work of you. Don't be distorted. Don't become twisted. It's not as bad as you think to work with your heart. Don't be scared to work with your heart. Here is showing it is upside down. The swords. It's not right side up where you're actually, just searching, living, being, exploring, thinking about it. It's upside down, reminding you to correct it, work at it, live it, be it. Love yourself. Working with this card, be optimistic. Think about this a little differently. Don't be scared to go into the darker area of the work. We got to do the work in order to find the light, right? Okay. So I'm going to close tonight with my love cards that are flying all over the place as I'm feeling love. These were the last two cards that I pulled down in my other session. Give it a quick shuffle before I close it out here. Okay. Let's close with a love message. Working with our heart chakras. Wow. I shuffled these cards. I put them in the center. I shuffled it. And falls out the same card on my last read. A clear message Spirit has to say is, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Listen to the music. Feel the vibration of your heart. And trust it. Just balance it. Okay? Balance it. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I am Third Eye Bell. Blessings. Peace.